Any Given Sunday, a bit of an ironic title right now because normally these are recorded well in advance. This week was a little bit different for a number of reasons, so this is the latest I hope to be. But anyway, by now we're more looking forward to week 7, so week 6 seems like distant memory. Let me remind you about it, little from the NFL, and then a huge week in our league. Week 6 is come and gone, and by the end of this video I'll be talking about let's go week 7, and 7 is half of 14. So we are legitimately in the mid-season of our fantasy leagues, which brings a lot of excitement, but also when we look back on a league, I like to think, so what did we learn from this? I did make a small list. Lesson number 1, I think the USA still low-key hates the UK. I don't mean just in like a tariff thing, no political commentary here that I'm really meaning to make. I don't think they go all back to like redcoats, but they just seem to keep sending them garbage teams to play garbage games. I mean, this game, the Broncos and Jets obviously, is tailor-made for the expression close doesn't necessarily mean good. I mean, we are dealing with a nation that calls a 0-0 game acceptable, and a maybe food choice palette, which doesn't necessarily require a lot of spice to be tasty. So they don't need a lot of action, but you really gave them a wear down. Probably a game that I would be willing to bet, if we're being honest with ourselves, not even fans of the teams were excited to watch. And it's not like it was a surprise. Lesson number 2, a short one, but a sweet one. If you make Las Vegas look good, you will lose your job. Sorry, Callahan, but it had to be somebody to be the first. Tennessee, we'll see how they rebound. Number 3 is more of an or, because there's two kind of this could be. Either Penix Envy is legit in Buffalo. I mean, I could also say they like a little Bijan on their sandwich just because Atlanta steamrolled them in a lot of ways. I've been sitting on that Penix joke for a long time, and it's not the last time I'm going to make it. Or should Buffalo be learning that you need to surround Allen with more than just Allen? I know they have that model in KC, and we'll be getting to them in a second, just trust me. But if you look at their roster and where they're spending their money, there are some defensive talented guys, and obviously they want to make sure it's more balanced. Cook is legit, but the window is going to get smaller and smaller. And if you really look at his wife's career, he's going to be in the gym a lot more if his wife keeps having performances next to Michael B. Jordan, because he's got to make sure he's keeping up his end. I mean, the anxiety there must be legitimate. But as a player, you only have so long to capitalize on this. You got to give him a few more weapons. So it could be A, could be B. Last lesson, another A and B. But this one is a little bit more topical. We were talking about the Chiefs, and they are that model. And it's funny to say, but they've been boring for the last couple years. Even though the fact that they win or lose in Super Bowls, we know they went from an explosive offense. They split their money and spend a lot more on defense. So now they're kind of dull, but they're back to exciting this year, and they actually have some receivers, and then Rice is coming off the suspension, so they could be back, but their question is more along the lines of Brian Branch, overreaction, or is this on brand? Now, you got to think about it from Detroit and Casey's perspective. This is an if or. I mean, this is the team that claims to be biting off kneecaps, and yet words still hurt them. So in some ways, you have to acknowledge that that's a little bit of an inconsistent bubble. You can't present yourself as the monsters of the league that can take down everybody except for a few little insults. Or is Mahomes just that freaking annoying with all his hand signs and weird kind of dexterity movements? Honestly, I could see either one, but super rare that someone gets popped in the handshake line. And not even the guy that they say was trash talking. So how that went down, hopefully we find out soon. Still not touching the Sanchez one, so no more lessons to be learned here. Except to kind of tie it all together, we are in a very critical part. Buffalo and Baltimore are on buys. That is going to have some impacts and maybe save some people who've been playing Baltimore people recently. But either way, let's just focus on our league first, because moving ahead to week 7, things are definitely going to get interesting. McCracken's looking to rebound and rebound hard after our last couple weeks, but he does so with our number 1 overall score. Now, in general, last week, all the scores were up, so you notice a lot of the player scores were quite high. This week, it leveled out a little bit, so hitting your predicted or just over actually puts you in a decent spot. Not so much for Thielen. You were a little bit ahead of predicted, but didn't really quite matter for you. Actually, though, you did have a wide receiver 3 in Drake London, great performance, and you did have the best defense in the Rams, so that was our D1. Not a lot you could have done on the bench. On both sides, it looked like you made most of the right calls. I think McCracken, I mean, you had some points across the board, but the big ones, obviously, you had down here in your flex spots. Big decision to go more running backs than an extra quarterback. It paid off for you with the running back 4 and 5. Scadaboo also earning a whole lot of cred for just the TV performance afterwards. So well done there. It looks like your running backs are certainly your strength, and we'll see how that carries you forward. Little bit of injury concern. We're going to get to that with a lot of other teams, but I mean, hey, it kind of stinks there, Thielen. You did go over predicted. Normally that's good enough, but not when you're playing the number 1 in the week. We go from number 1 in the week to number 1 overall. V, you still remain strong here with only that one loss. Jake looked like he might be ready to take you down, but unfortunately his bills didn't really come through for him here. Now Pickens has. We'll see how that works with CD coming back, but he was the wide receiver 1. And we go all the way down to D5 here, 5th rated defense. But just some running back issues with Jake, just a few underperformances, too many. And when you're going against, there he is, Bijan. He was the running back 1 and clearly the star of the show. Now Ted McMillan, great. He finally got in the end zone. He's been having an underrated season. He got you a few more points. St. Brown and Hall underachieving. Darnold did just fine, just outside of the top 5 actually. So realistically, you were kind of Bijan or bust, and you got Bijan. So right now, that might be just good enough for a couple wins. Jake, you're not quite out of it yet. We'll see how the next couple weeks pan out, but might be time for a run if you want to make the playoffs. This matchup was close at different times due to some injury issues that we had. And actually, weirdly enough, we had some massive underperformances, but we also had more top 5s in this game than in any other matchup. Motor City dudes, you just fell short. This was actually a pretty big win. So top 6 making the playoffs means you're just on the outside looking in. So you could have used this one. And again, you were just over projected. Your wide receiver issues there and some fumble-rooski issues with Ramonde, but you did have the tight end 1 playing. You had the defense 3 in Denver. Looking at your bench, you did have some point options, which is always nice. Jim had some as well. And actually getting to Jim, he was the one who lit up our top 5 in multiple categories. He had the tight end 3. He had the quarterback 2. He had the wide receiver 5. He also had a wide receiver go down, like I mentioned, making things a little spicy. But Rico Dowdle has to be kind of the pickup right now of the year. He was the running back 2. Only Bijan got by him, and he's been top 3 for the past couple weeks. We'll see how that goes moving forward. But I mean, if I'm Carolina, he's kind of the only thing I got going, so I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. The win, like I said, we'll get to some of the standing-related issue. Win was huge for Jim. Joe, not out of it yet, but like I said with Jake, a run is going to be needed sooner than later. A big win for Throwing Stones, Kicking Bones, and a kind of drop of the ball for Gibbs, who could have made a little bit more of a run to be prominent in our top 3. Still 4th overall, though, so can't be too mad with 500. On your side there, Kevin, Indiana Jones was just in the top 5. He was the quarterback 4. And you did have your boy Laporta. He was the tight end 4. Unfortunately for you, outside of that, you just had some massive underperformances. You also have some significant injury issues here with Nakua, but we'll see how long that lasts. And not quite commando in the basement, but you do have not a whole lot to work with. But as we move through, some of your bye issues will be taken away. So I'm not as concerned there. I think you bounce back next week. Big win, like I mentioned, Michael. You didn't necessarily have consistency in your wide receivers, but who cares? You had Achane, who was the running back 3. Swift did not get in the top 5, none other than Dax, but both obviously were performances you were looking for. And in this case, you just really needed to hit predicted because Kevin was falling on his face. So again, I keep mentioning the standings. We'll get there, but big win for you, Throwing Bones. I'm getting to me last, not just because I'm trying to be polite, but I was the team that got the win with the lowest point total. Not the lowest point total, obviously, overall, but you get it. Both of us underpredicted. I'm happy I won the side bet, but it was not pretty. But I do have a beer coming my way, so thank you, Paul. On your side, you kind of had the haves and the have-nots. You had the quarterback 1, Jamar Chase. They finally realized that he can catch a ball. Spoiler alert, they realize it again on Thursday, but we'll get to that next week. And you did have the tight end 2 in McBride. So lots to celebrate on your end. Similar for me, I didn't have too many ringing the bell. JSN's been my guy all year, wide receiver 2 performances. Everybody else kind of did just enough, but just enough with another team that was underpredicted. Not what I want to do going forward. I keep mentioning the standings, and the reason why, they're all pretty tight here. If you're 500, you're in the playoffs. If you're not, you're not, but you're only a game off. And if we start looking at points scored, there's some teams here with just one win could certainly jump all the way up. So it's going to matter, as always, on who you play. Taking a look at that, we got some good matchups here. Anytime two teams that are currently in the playoffs are playing each other, I get excited, and we got that in 2 spots. We got a couple teams in the game out situation. And we have our leaders going against teams that have a vested interest in trying to take them down. So all this to say, lots going on for week 7. Let's get there. I will try my best not to repeat this over and over again, but obviously every point is going to matter from here on out. You saw the bunching and how close things are, so matchups are going to matter, bye weeks are going to matter, managing your roster is going to matter, but you already know that or you wouldn't be in this league. So moving into week 7, obviously we're paying attention. We have the UK game. Still a couple on the Monday nighters. Matchups and in terms of injuries are going to be a huge issue, but all right, we got to get out of here because it's about ready for kickoff time. So best of luck in week 7. We'll see you next week.